Ciao e bentornati! Welcome back to Pillole D'Italiano. In today's episode number 81, I want to go back and cover the basics, so to speak. I would love to talk about the alphabet, but I will put a spin to it and let's do it in a fun way. Let's not go through reciting every single letter as if we were 4 or 5 years old, because no one needs that. Why am I bringing up this alphabet stuff more than a year and a half into this wonderful YouTube journey, you might ask? Well, a few of my clients started wondering how they could spell things for Italians when they go and visit, or if they buy a property in Italy, or if they have to spend some time there and go to the post office, God forbid, or anywhere else where they might need to spell their names or city of origin, stuff like that. Now, spelling is not essential in Italian as it is in English. If you are a native English speaker, you know how much of a nightmare spelling could be, because the same letter or combination of letters can be pronounced differently according to the word or the expression that you find them in, and vice versa. So the same sound can be spelled differently depending on the word that you're looking at. What a nightmare. Now, in Italian, you don't have to worry about that. In fact, if you ever ask an Italian speaker to tell you how something is written, in Italian you would say, come si scrive? Come si scrive? How does one write it? Come si scrive? How does one write the word that you're wondering how it's spelled, right? So if you're asking in Italian, come si scrive rondine? Well, if you ever tried, you know that Italians will not give you one letter at a time. They will just slow down the word and they will just repeat it slowly so that you can catch it, because in the same way that it sounds, you will write it. So an Italian would say, si scrive rondine. And that's not because they're trying to insult you and slowing it down thinking that you're stupid or anything. It's just that we don't have the same concept of spelling being a hard thing to do. So when it comes to everyday words, you don't have to worry about spelling them. There are a few rules when it comes to spelling and recreating a certain sound through a combination of letters. But other than that, just follow the rules. They're very consistent. You don't have to, break down every single word and spelling it letter by letter. But when it comes to your own name or last name, names that are not commonly found in Italy, and so Italians might want to know how you write it, come si scrive. That is the moment where you can shine, my friend, and you can give them the spelling letter by letter. But letters are pronounced differently in Italian, of course. Let me start by saying that the Italian alphabet only has 21 letters. Yeah, you heard me right, 21, not 26. So there are 5 letters that you will not find in the native, so to speak, Italian alphabet, but you will see them used in words that are borrowed. These 5 letters are J, K, W, X, and Y. Now, talking about the letter X, if you're calling a taxi, in Italian, in modern Italian, we would spell it with T-A-X and I. Though the letter X is not native to the Italian language. Old-timers, old folks in Italy will still call that taxi tassi, spelled T-A-S-S-I with an accent, just for you to know. But modern Italians, they will understand you if you're wondering where to call a taxi or where to wait for one. So the letter X is a foreign one, but you see, it's used regularly. Now, if you have one or more of those 5 foreign letters in your name, and as you're spelling it, you want to be able to say the name of the letter in Italian, I will say it, and you will also find up here through the magic of post-production the name of the letter in Italian, as we call it in Italian. Well, the letter J, it's simply called J. J. The letter K is Kappa. Kappa. The letter W has 2 possible names, W or W. So you see here, W or W. The letter X, we call it X. X. And then the letter Y, we call it Y, Y, or Y, Y. Because this letter comes from the Greek alphabet. So that's why we call it the Greek I, Y. All right, let's move on to the native letters. So those 21 letters that I was talking about before that belong to the Italian alphabet, the letters that the Italian kids will learn in school. They're divided into 5 vowels and 16 consonants. When it comes to the 5 vowels, those are super easy because the name that we give them corresponds to the sound that they make. How nice. So we have A, E, I, O, U. Easy peasy. Now let's move on to the consonants. When it comes to the consonants, I want to raise your awareness of how much you already know, because most of them are basically the same or very, very similar in the Italian alphabet. Now take all the consonants that in English will end with the sound E, so B, C, D, G, etc. All of them are basically the same in Italian. So B, C, D, G, P, T, V. The only one that might create any issue is the letter C that we call chi. That's the only difference. Everything else is pretty much the same. Now let's talk about those consonants like an F, L, M, R. Those consonants that are a bit different, they have a vowel sound at the beginning of the name of the letter, if that makes sense, right? So F, you see how you have the E sound before the F, which is a consonant. Every single one of these letters in Italian behave in the same way, so the name of all of these consonants are very, very similar. You basically, what you do, you take the consonant, you double it, and you put 2 letter E's at each end of the name. So the F will be Effe. You see how it's spelled? Effe. Same thing you will do with L. Elle. Elle. M and N. Emme and N. Emme, N. Then we have R. R. R, which is also good to practice your rotating R's. And the letter S. Esse. Esse. So you see how it's the same principle. So hopefully that doesn't require a lot of memorization on your end. And lastly, let's have a look at those weird consonants. Those consonants that have weird names, so to speak, in English too. Those are the letters H, Q, and Z. So the way we call an H is H. H. A Q is simply Q. Q. And a Z, it's a zeta. Zeta. All right, now you should have all the instruments to be able to spell your own name in Italian. I will go first, and I will invite you to use the comment section below to spell your own name, just your first name. Don't give personal information on YouTube, right? But in spelling your own name, do not go the lazy route. If your name is Paul, just typing P-A-U-L is not enough. I want you to name the letters in a way that in Italian will do it. So P-A-U-L. Does that make sense? So my name is Ludovica e si scrive L-U-D-O-V-I-C-A. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If so, don't forget to like it, subscribe to the channel if you're new to it, and I will see you next week. Ciao, a presto!